Ani Bonjour. Hello to all my Facebook family and friends. I'm sitting here still in shock, still numb. We knew this was coming, but it still bottoms us out. I had to take last night to figure this out for myself a little bit and give it some deep thought before I addressed all of you. I'm struggling with this just like everybody else is. I did my fair share of ranting last night on the internet and tried to channel some of this energy, and I found that while I was trying to do it, it was ineffective because I was still numb. So I gave up, I went to bed, and I got some sleep. I woke up this morning, late this morning, and I feel a little bit better. I feel more grounded. And I have a message for all of you. This is going to be really hard. I can't lie to anybody. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it or make this seem like it's a piece of cake, because it's not. But we've been here before. Well, our elders have. Our ancestors have. Our history in this country tells us that we've been here a few times before. But the elders in our Congress are determined to take us back to a time when apparently they were more comfortable. And I'm not big on name calling, but at this point I'm going to reference them as our dinosaurs, because that's what they are. In our Congress, we have people who are in their 80s, 90s, and even beyond that right now. These people have been there for my entire life. Mitch McConnell is one. Nancy Pelosi is another. I don't want to single any specific out because there are more than one, and they're in both parties. Some seats come and go, others just never seem to change. And every little bit of progress we make after an election, we get this setback that happens so soon afterward because of those dinosaurs. They are set in their ways, and they are determined that this country and the people who live in it, you and me, the regular little people that they talk about a lot but don't often recognize, they're determined that we are going to conform and we are going to live the way they dictate to us. And the end result is that we have been living in this perpetual chaos as the two sides of this dinosaur go back and forth between each other, fighting for which era they're going to take us to, or which one they're going to take us to next. Yesterday's decision is a long-term, well-thought-out plan that's been going on since Roe V Wade started. Ever since it happened, there has been this faction of people, and it has been generational. Children are raised in the environment learning that this is wrong, bad, or whatever it is they're teaching them. But they're raised to fight the fight and carry on in the footsteps of their ancestors and elders just the same way that we are. And once again, we have come to this roadblock between the two. One of the things that's been bothering me a lot lately is all of the talk I hear on TV and the internet about saving our democracy. Before I go any further with my discussion of Roe v. Wade and our current situation, I want to address that because that's a big part of this. I'm not fooling myself, and I'm not going to play this game that the media and the government and all of these other people want to play. We don't have a democracy, not a functioning one. America right now is what it looks like when democracy fails. We are being dictated to by a minority of people, not just in our government, but within our population. So make no mistake, to anybody from outside of the United States who is listening to this video, we are not an example to be following. Please learn from us, watch closely, And please keep your ears open, because I'm worried that we are going to be calling for your help out there soon. America is melting down, the great worldwide melting pot. And there is a lot of culture involved in this meltdown. I had this discussion with somebody the other day. We have taken people from all over the world and put them, or allowed them, to converge on one small place, the United States. We've prided ourselves for hundreds and hundreds of years on the great American melting pot, and every culture is welcome and every culture is respected and honored and cherished and blah, 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 blah. That's not true. That has never been true in North America. Not in the United States, not in Canada, and not in Mexico. Anything that even resembles something like that is post-colonialism, and it references people who came from the same places and holed up together in their villages and their forts and took on their battles against each other, nation against nation. This has never truly been a respectful country to all of the cultures that reside here. What it has been is an effective long-term assimilation of every culture on the planet. When it's referenced as an experiment, that is accurate. So, as with all experiments, all of the countries that are watching, all of the people in the countries that are watching, learn from this experiment. There are mistakes that have been made from the very beginning, and there are still mistakes being made now. And we have a whole country full of people right now that are suffering for it, on either side of the Roe V Wade debate. And the reason for this is because cultures have all been melted together, and we have this large population of people who are lacking culture. One of my favorite discussions at our Kick roundtables is to talk about how every single culture in the world, if we trace them back to their primitive ancestors, if we go back far enough in each of them, they all share commonalities. And those things cannot be denied. There are primitive skills and tools and skill sets that every culture has as a foundation. And with each of those cultures is a belief system. And from that you have traditions and life ways. And every one of these primitive cultures is environmentally based, because our ancestors did not have what we have today. None of them did. It doesn't matter what continent you were on. It doesn't matter what country they were in. They didn't have what we have now to call a modern society. They had ancestral skills, teachings, and experience that we no longer possess because of our modern society. I'm not going to bash technology, because technology is allowing me to speak to the whole world right now. But it's not all good. Not when it's abused. Not when it is used for the wrong reasons and misrepresentative of what the reality and the truth really are. So how we use these tools, just like with our ancestors, is going to determine how we go forward. We have an advantage over our ancestors because, like I said in the beginning, we've been here before. But our ancestors didn't see the enemy coming. Our ancestors were ambushed. This time, our enemy wears a spotlight. They're loud, they're bold, and they are a very, very, very small faction of our population. Here in the United States and worldwide, they don't have the wealth of support that the Ukraine has right now, for obvious reasons. This small faction respects and appreciates Russia and Putin and all of his friends. So we have a hell of a battle on our hands right now. But we have advantages that our ancestors didn't have when they fought this before. Obviously their plan, their way through this was not perfect, but take a step back for a minute and look at the past 50 years and everything that has been achieved in that time. It's what we're fighting for right now. So it wasn't all wrong. Our elders got something right if we were able to come that far before it all blew up in our faces. So what we need to do now is we need to look back at what our elders did the first time, the last time, and we need to use that as our outline, and we need to figure out where the mistakes were made, where improvements can be made, and we need to tweak that, and we need to go the only direction that we can go, forward. But we need to do it together. Each one of our minority factions in our country right now that are being attacked, and I don't use that word lightly, we are being politically attacked, we are being verbally attacked, and in many cases, in many places, we are being physically attacked. But as each one of our minority factors in this country stands up next to the next one over that is also being attacked, disrespected, oppressed, instead of fighting with each other about who is more of a minority, if we stand together, that faction out there that opposes us, that is bringing all of these nightmares and chaos to us and dropping them at our feet and forcing us to deal with it, we outnumber them about 3 to 1. And there is truth to power in numbers, and we need to use that right now. I'm coming to you as a Native American spiritual counselor, the head of a church, and I'm telling you that we need to stand together and not lose our hope. The reason we are going through this right now is because that small faction of our population is more afraid of us than we are of them. Turn on your TV, turn on the internet, and look at the videos that are coming from every major city in the United States right now. Look at the protests. Look at the people pouring out of their houses to speak their truth, to make sure that their voices are heard. And it's only the day after. This is only the beginning. We have a really, really long way to go, and we have a really hard fight ahead of us, but it's not hopeless. So mourn the loss, cry, get it out of your system, let it just sink in, and when you're done, stand up, speak up. Even if you feel you don't have a voice, if you feel completely powerless right now, I'm going to encourage you more than all the others. Speak up. Turn on a camera, just like I'm doing right here, and tell me what you think. Tell me your fears. Tell me your hopes, your dreams. Tell me your reality. We want to hear your stories here at The Kick. We've done a lot of studying and we focus on our culture during our roundtables, but we want to make ourselves available right now to all of the people out there, especially all of the women out there who are hurting and in shock and not sure what to do with this or where to go forward. Go to our website, thekick.org, THEKICC.org, and click on the button for our roundtable. We meet on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Central Time. And right now I am inviting the whole world to come and gather with us this next Thursday. Bring your pain, bring your suffering, bring your hopes, bring your fears, bring everything. And come gather with us and let's talk this out. Let's do what we need to do to go forward. Rely on each other and build a community, a new community. A bigger community, a more powerful community, a community of Native Americans and non-Native Americans, our allies. We need you right now. This new change in laws, as devastating as it is for all of the states that are implementing or have already implemented these abortion bans, I want the world to know that our Native American reservations remain the most disadvantaged places in our country, and this is going to hit our Native American women harder than anybody else in the country. So I come to you pleading for your help as an ally. Come together and let's put our heads together, let's brainstorm together, let's put it all on the table and paint the real picture and figure out how we're going to conquer this. We've got them on the run. And the fact that they did this to us just assures me that I see this the right way. They're running, they're scared, they're terrified of what we're going to do with this newfound power that we've built over the last 50 years. So they're trying to take it away from us. This is temporary if we stand up together and do something about it. This does not have to be our new reality. A phase of it to get where we're going, but this does not have to be a forever. I have daughters, I have granddaughters, I have a son who has children. I need to fight this not just for me, but for them. This is affecting every single one of us, whether we want to believe that or not. Because this is still brand new and it just happened yesterday, the impact is not going to be felt for weeks yet, maybe months, 9 months. We're going to lose a lot of lives between now and November. We're going to have to support a lot of homeless, unwanted children between now and November. And we're going to somehow have to justify what's happening to these people that are suffering and dying because of this. We're going to have to hold the people responsible for this to account. We have the means. What I'm doing right now, coming to you, that's one of them. We have telephones. We have transportation. Even in this really hard economy, look out the door. How many people are in the streets? How many people are traveling to other locations to be out in the streets? We're finding a way. So if we can find a way to do what we've done already, because we're really pissed off, well then let's apply that and go further. Let's pool our resources and fix this. We have that power if we do it together. So everybody out there, I share your pain. I cried a lot last night. I ranted a lot last night, and I put a lot of stuff on my Facebook page away from my ministry and my church. And I didn't find my safe space within myself that I was looking for until after I'd gotten some sleep and really digested that this is just one piece out of a really giant puzzle. And we have other pieces already on the table, and the bigger picture is really starting to take shape. It allowed me to set aside a bit of that anger and really reflect on what the agenda is that we're facing. This is the tip of the iceberg. This is what they chose to start with. So where are they going? Well, they're telling us where they're going. Contraception, gay marriage, any of the rights that we minority peoples have managed to achieve over the last 50 years are now on the table. And they're looking to chop as many of them as they can get away with chopping. Because we have risen up, and we have been heard, and we've been felt, and now they're afraid. So we need to reassert ourselves. We're not going anywhere, and we are not our ancestors. We are going to win this battle. We're going to conquer each one of these little battles that are coming at us, because we're going to stand together, and we're going to outnumber them, we're going to overpower them, and we're going to be heard. And we are going to restore what once maybe was some semblance of democracy, but we're going to also learn from what we're experiencing now, adding it to that timeline of history that our ancestors, our elders have left for us, so that we don't have to go through this again. I'm 52 years old. I don't want to be doing this. I may not be alive again, or I may be too old to speak up like this again if we go through this again. I don't want to do this again. I don't want my children and grandchildren to do this in my wake. Come on. I am of the generation that raised our millennials. We raised them strong and smart. We educated them. We made them independent. And we made them loud. We made sure that their population was large so that they could stand with us someday and assert ourselves and say, hey, this is our land, this is our country, and we want it back. It doesn't belong to corporate America. It doesn't belong to a greedy handful of people who have more than life could ever possibly need. It doesn't belong to the people that are hiding it all in bank accounts in other countries so that they don't have to acknowledge they have it just to make sure that somebody else doesn't. Those aren't the people that this land belongs to. It belongs to us. Each and every one of us, everyday regular citizens who goes to work and pays our bills and pays our taxes and takes care of our children, and all we want is to just be happy. We want a space created that we can claim for our own, to do our own little thing, to believe what we want, to feel what we want, to gather together when we need to or want to celebrate and to mourn. We want to be left alone. We're not slaves. And if this is some big attempt at turning this country around so that corporate America can claim us as slaves, they've got another thing coming. Because as long as there is a breath still in me, this fight will not die until we win. And we put them back in their places where they belong. This is Democracy Out of Control 101.2. Because we've been here before. So let's fix it this time so that we don't have to do this again. I'm tired. I have so many other things that I want to be teaching to everybody who's listening to me. This isn't one of them. So today's message is one of hope and strength in spite of everything that we face. Let's do this together. We can. We will. Reach out to us here at The Kick. There is contact information on our website, so feel free to drop us an email. Watch for us on our blog and respond to our blog posts. I will head over to our blog and start a new conversation because that's what we're here for. We are a church. And while we are different and we focus entirely on our Native American cultures and traditions and teachings, we are still a church, and we are here to comfort you and to offer you a safe space so that you can recover, digest, whatever it is you need to do to be okay, and to know that you're not alone. So hopefully I will see everybody Thursday at 7 p.m. Central. Go to thekick.org and our roundtable button, and there is a direct link for you there to join up with us. And I will come and address you again soon. I still have some digesting to do on this end and some people to check on. But anybody on Facebook that really is in need, feel free to look for me in private message if you really need to. If I can't help you personally, I can help find the resources so that you are getting what you need. Because at the end of the day, that's what really matters, is we all have to survive this somehow or other. And every day that we get through together is one day closer to the end. One day closer to seeing the other side where we are victorious and we can reclaim what we understand is freedom, real freedom. And we can celebrate together when we get there. Blessings to the whole world. Bamapi.